all. Any apologies for absence first, please?
Thank you, Chair. Apologies this afternoon from Councillor Kerry Evans and from Dave House, Director of Social Services.
Thank you. Any disclosures of personal or prejudicial interests, please? None to note on. And then we have the minutes from 12th of January 2026, page 1, page 2, page 3. Any matters arising? And can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Excuse me. 5. And a seconder, please. Patience. Thank you.
Just show of hands, the minutes are okay.
Can we have a show of hands if the minutes are correct, please? Thank you.
I probably have to give a belated apology for that meeting. I was probably in hospital. I've been back and forth there quite frequently over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're okay? Then we move on to agenda item 4, development of Cuchmawr multi-bank. Mark? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Obviously, we've forwarded the report in advance of the meeting. The report gives you the background to Cuchmawr and the operating model, including performance measures, etc. So we brought it forward for your attention today. And if you have any queries or questions in terms of the future development.
So yeah, as Mark said, in terms of the report, it just gives a bit of an overview and a background in terms of what is a multi-bank, how we just established it really. But I guess it's because we've been going into a year into the multi-bank, which it's called Cuchmawr, and it is run by Faith and Families in terms of a registered charity. So it's not run by a council. The whole premise of a multi-bank is a third sector charitable organisation, which was selected outside of our process, but as a council we have invested in the multi-bank and we're seeking to continue to do so. But in terms of just really understanding what is the Service Transformation Committee's views of how it's working, are we all aware of it, what can we do to actually improve it in terms of a future development as we go into future years. Really, that's what we're looking for today, really, Chair, if that's okay, just to as an understand from the committee of what we can do to sort of make things as efficient and effective and equitable for all of Swansea.
Thank you, Jane. Right, anything from the screen first? Any questions, any observations? Patience?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I do apologise. I haven't read the report, but I've had one question recently, or sorry, some information that I picked up on recently, and then one question. So I was, and please correct me if this is wrong information, I've been told that the services of Cuchmawr have been extended to Neath Talbot. And if that is the case, does the organisation or the setup have the capacity going forwards to service both Neath Talbot and Swansea? And the second question is with regards to councillors' access to Cuchmawr services. Again, I believe a while ago we received an email, not quite sure, just wanting some clarity about how we can access the services as councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, Patience. Mark?
Thank you, Councillor. Two excellent questions. In truth, no is the answer to the first question. Currently, Cuchmawr is Swansea Council is the only local authority that is a partner of Cuchmawr. There has been discussions with NBT and also Carmarthenshire, and discussions with Wrexham with a different sort of model. but currently it is only us. I've spoken directly to directors in Carmarthen and MPT, and so far there's been no commitment of funding from themselves. So as of now, we are the only local authority to receive goods and be a supporter of Cwtchmau. Is the first question? Yeah.
So I think what we're looking for then is a reassurance from Cwtchmau Multibank that all of the items in there are coming to Swansea residents as it hasn't been extended past the boundaries of City and County of Swansea. We just need to make sure that they are actually all of those the beneficiaries from Cwtchmau, which I believe we are told they are coming from Swansea. So that's something we need to check.
So sorry in case I'm cutting across anyone, a quick one from me. So how do we monitor, for me firstly, because there is a lot of, shall I say, loose comment out there that we are providing the financial support as a local authority and that other local authorities have benefited. So how do we monitor and how do we kind of administer where we are? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, so my name is Mark Gosney. So sorry, I should have introduced myself earlier. Commissioning team leader. Us as the commissioning team administer the funding to Cwtchmau. We have monthly quality assurance meetings with Cwtchmau, to ensure that they are delivering their performance measures and they're on track. It's been quite an area of development with new systems, etc. So we've been looking at the practical delivery side, but we can definitely raise this in our next meeting, which will be in a few weeks. But obviously, if there are, it's difficult to answer if there is sort of conversations within communities. However, if there is any specific information out there or feedback, please contact me directly, and I shall take that up with Cwtchmau, and I shall speak to any individual that has concerns direct outside this meeting, and we'll take that if that's okay.
Thank you. And I think for me as well, Patience mentioned councillors. Now I note here there's only 9 councillors on the list. I'm one of those councillors. I've been on the list, I've been off the list, I don't know where I am now. They've sent me a new link, one of the operators down there, and I still can't access. I've asked for 1 referral and I've never had anything. That was last November, and I'm still waiting on that referral. And I think, just for information, I think it needs to be said here, Councillor Lloyd and myself, we're in East Side Food Bank, and so we were told we were on the listing. We added our names. Then there was a big I was on, Paul was off. Then everything was going to Jan, who's the vicar's wife, and we didn't know where we were. So we were missing bulk. And they always said, as we were the nearest, they would always phone us any food they had. But every time we go there, and I am thankful because we do need them, is reams and reams and reams of toilet paper. And it seems to be the only thing coming out of there. So I know Paul has been down and he has had 2 food parcels from there, but that's over the last 15, 18 months. We've had nothing of late. But it does worry me because I've been down there numerous times. I've spoke to Phil, spoke to Jonathan, spoke to Cherie, and just said, please, can you make sure we're on the list? Because, there is a fast turnaround in our food bank as well. And we've got customers or we've got residents that we know that we should be referring for. So please, 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 can you see if I'm on the list? If I'm not, can you get some fairy dust and add me to the list? And I would like to know why it's so difficult to be added to the list. And then when you do the referral, which I've done 2 referrals, so I can speak quite personally about it, and we've never taken nothing back. The first time I was told, no, you haven't sent an email, you haven't had, but it was in my diary and it was in Paul's diary. And the second time I've just been completely ignored. And it's only 2 pairs of trainers, that's all. So thank you.
So, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor. So going to that, when I first brought this to this meeting, we immediately sent out an email to all councillors and with steps in terms of how to be a referrer into Cwtchmau. So after that, periodically we've taken 9 councillors, or Cushmau have taken 9 councillors on board as referrers. We can send that back out to all councillors, you know, just to remind people of how people can be, and there is a list of councillors if people need it that are referrers. Councillor Evans, you are one of them, so you are on the list as a referrer. Now, what has happened is there's been a few changes in their systems. So historically, when it first started, there was a weekly inventory sent out, and that's how people access the goods. Now, that has changed. There's an online system, and you don't wait for the inventory. You can go online at any point, and you can put a referral in. So over the last week, I've spoken to 3 different teams within social services and housing, and it seems to be working really, really well, in a sense that the referral's made. There's an initial email to confirm that referral, and a second email to say when that is there for collection. So again, happy to talk through that order process with MD outside the meeting, if MD would like that support. And again, if anybody would like to be added as referrers, please let us know, and we can liaise with yourselves and Cushmau. Yeah, so that's the answer to that question. But obviously, if you've got outstanding maybe for not, I mean, last November's probably gone. You probably don't need it anymore, yeah. If you've got actual examples, then please come to me. Then I can take that up with Phil and John. But we will ensure that you know, the process is more seamless from a councillor point of view.
So just one quick one before I bring you in, Al, I will bring you in. So obviously now, you know, I'll just speak for Paul and myself. It's been constant, fail. We have had 3 massive bulk toilet rolls, which we are really grateful for, you know. But if it's failing and I'm going there and I'm saying to him, please help me, which I physically spent 3 hours there one day, please help me because something's amiss. So I know you can't answer me, Mark, and I respect that. But surely there should be a system where the correspondence should be picked up. And if it's failing all the time, and I have been moaning and nagging all the time, because I'm quite amazed that there's only 9 of us. I am amazed at that, because I thought there would have been a lot more. Because when we opened it up as a referral system, I can remember us being in the members' room, and that's just our party. And it was like, it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. You can do a referral, we'll have it, and you know, it's got to get bigger and better, and I appreciate that. And I know they've moved and they've got a new system, but I'll bring you in, Alison.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Chair. Going back to what Patience said in the beginning as well, there has been lots of chatter out there from other local authorities to the point of where Llanelli, I think it was, or Carmarthen, actually turned up for a photo shoot outside Cushmau, and nobody knew about it. Even Faith in Families, nobody had any request to support them. But the leader has been really strong in the fact that he won't share the unit that we got or the services. If the local authorities want anything from Cushmau, then they have to set up their own. So you know, so I can't remember what else you asked, Patience, but I know that in regards to Cushmau, look, you know, I've sent out emails, the team have sent out emails, you know, we've got, I know, 75 councillors, 9 people on the list. You know, I put in referrals, I don't know, 3-4 a week. You know, often they refer us for other councillors who ask me to put the referrals in for them. You know, there was a bit of a hiccup over the Christmas spell when they changed their systems. I found it a bit hard work. I've got used to it now. Do you know what I mean? And I think they are improving it as well. It's still not perfect. But it's like I suppose like a shopping list on there now, and you can see what they got and what they haven't got and everything. But you know, I've never had a problem with not really getting. Sometimes they're out of stock, of course, or something. But I put in referrals right, left, and centre, and the bulk come out. we haven't really had bulk this side of Christmas. They don't look to stock food. It is usually all household products. But I can only speak for myself. I've had absolutely enormous palletfuls of bulk from toilet paper, washing powder, I don't know, you name it, all the sort of household things, to clothes in abundance that people just, honest to God, they couldn't believe. You know, so you do have to be quick with bulk. That is a first come, first served, because they want it gone. As it comes in, they don't really want to be holding it. They want to get it back out, you know. Tim Moss was amazing. He's moved on to a different job now. Chris has stepped in and he's amazing. You know, if you're really struggling for something, like I couldn't get some trainers that I desperately wanted for 2 families the other day. They weren't for my ward, but they were for other wards. And to be fair, Chris went over and found some. Do you know what I mean? Because things come in on a daily basis. So I don't know what the difficulties are. I did like it when it was an app, but whatever, we're in this referral way in now, this different link sort of thing. But why only 9 councillors take up this offer is beyond me. But it's the same with $100 links for the LEAP programs. I must have had 15, 20 new fridge freezers, air fryers for people, and I think there's only 2 of us referring into them. I don't know what the fear is or what the take up, why people are not taking these opportunities for the residents. I don't know what the block is. We can keep trying, you know, and maybe STC can put something up. Maybe, you know, something's got to be able to break through, because we've all got families that are in dire need of things, you know. So yeah, sorry, I find it, well, amazing what you can get for people down there. People are in tears when they receive things, because you can get so much. I have to say, I'm really shocked for, if I'm just getting a pair of trainers, I will always put in washing powder, shower gels, toothpastes, everything. Do you know what I mean? So that you got a car full coming from there for people. Sorry, I hope that helps.
Before I bring you in, Myra, thank you, Alison. Mark will come back, but just one thing from me. Obviously, I'm on that list that's been confirmed, and Paul, and we can't get nothing. So obviously, the communication is a bit. So Mark, if you want to come in, I'll call you in then, Myra. Okay.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Councillor Anthony. Yeah, so in terms of that, maybe we can have a little chat, and my team will contact you and Councillor Lloyd directly, and we can talk through the new way of ordering and that kind of thing to see if that helps. With regards to bulk, Councillor Anthony mentioned that because of the new system, they're able to categorize it better, so there's literally been no bulk available because it's on the shelves via the referral form. Now, I know bulk has been an issue in the past in terms of how it's been distributed, so actually that's now being distributed via the referral, so there isn't as much bulk as there was previously, because they are categorizing it and it's going out via the actual online system. But because again, I can email you tomorrow, we can have a chat. And Faith Families have offered, if groups would like a tour of the facility and you know, find out a bit more about it, what's available and the processes, Jonathan from Faith and Families is more than happy to do that. So if that could be an offer to councillors or wider, we can send that out via STC if that's something that an opportunity that councillors would be interested in to learn more. And then, you know, that might help people and we can pose those questions directly.
Sorry, Myra, I'm going to cut you out again because I got one more thing to say. I'll try and then. I think for me, Mark, you know, and I know it's been up a struggle because it's a massive, massive program. But it's like, for me, never mind about the bulk. You know, we are councillors, we're out there, you know, with the LACs and social services, whatever teams are there. And I think for me, it's so sad that we could be utilising this and we could be taking the onus off social service teams who should be doing, to me, more priority cases than doing referrals to Cwtchmawr. So whereas I could be doing a referral for a family, so it does worry me as to we are 99% there, but we still got that that little hurdle, and I appreciate that, you know. But I'm going to bring Myra in. Myra, do you want to come in? And then
Thank
Alan,
you,
yeah?
Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. We've gone through Cutchmouth, we've gone through the drop-in centre or through Cordy, which was Pobble, now it's Cordy. We put people that way, we've had to signpost them that way. I know Erica that went up Cutchmouth with, I can't remember which councillor she met up there. Emergency it was, and she come back with very little, but the person was quite happy. But at the end of the day, as councillors, I'm not on the list either, I don't think. I haven't seen or read any emails, which I read most of my emails, unless they come through like scam. I think going up to see Cutchmouth would be an advantage for every councillor to see how it works and how things go in and how things come out. And as a value for money, which the council are putting up a certain amount of investment, let's as councillors see this investment for ourselves. I reckon we should go up to Cutchmouth and see Cutchmouth and see which way it works and understand the body of the work. And they say, seeing is believing, hearing isn't. So I myself would rather go up, see how it all works, and then feedback, because then you can give people the information they need when you've seen it and how it works. When you haven't seen it and you've just got all the written stuff on how it works, people just don't believe it. But when you say, I've been up there and this is the way it works, they understand the project and everything a bit more. That's all I got to say, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Myra. Alan now first, and then Angela. Alan?
Thank you, Chair. I did have several questions, actually, but several of them have been answered as well. But sort of, forgive my naivety here, and for clarity, I was aware of the name Cutchmouth, but I had no idea what the processes were or what it was for, other than the fact that it was to support people who may be disadvantaged in some way. And following on from what Alison and Maya have said, I had no idea that I could be involved as a councillor, should that be the case. And I was looking at the flow chart on here, the referral of the flow chart. Not to say too much about it, because it's been a history of mine in developing flow charts, that I find it doesn't tell me what the process is, how I can get involved with that process. I've heard the name Cutchmouth. I mean, I don't even know where it is. So I just wonder if that kind of information could be made a little bit more available to councillors, so that I'm sure there must be other councillors who feel the same way. So yeah, but I have gleaned a lot from what has been said today, and thank you for that. But it's been a bit of an eye-opener for me. Thank you, Chair.
Angela, can I wait Jane first, please? Is that okay? Yeah.
Just don't know. So it's really important to have this conversation and to understand where the improvements are. So the name and the address of it isn't in the public domain because it's not front facing, it's referral only. So I'm not going to say it in the meeting, but I do think there is a role for the STC to do a visit to actually see, as Maya said, when you see it and you can see how it works, you can understand and be part of it. And I do think there is definitely something about the more clarity we need around the process to be shared with our councillors, and actually how, and then testing that process works and the pitfalls of it. So I think there's a piece of work for us to do as well. But I think from what I'm hearing today is that to organise a group visit from the STC is definitely the way forward, and then you can see where it is and we can address that. Is that right, Chair? Thanks.
Thanks, Jane. Angela?
I am totally aware of Cwtch Mawr and of the fantastic work that is done. I do agree, though, with and I know of schools and of certain clubs that have been beneficiaries of the Cwtch Mawr programme. So I think it is absolutely fantastic. But I do agree with Councillor Baker in that I think it would benefit us. Then we can advocate for it more if we've been there ourselves and we know exactly how it works. Then I would be totally up for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. Leslie?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Totally agree with the idea of us actually going there. That would be excellent. One thing that does slightly puzzle me, why do we as councillors have to register that we want to be referral? Wouldn't it make sense that all councillors were on that list anyway? Is that not possible?
Jane?
That's a really good point, Leslie. It becomes because of the way. So when you register, we're agreeing. So we've signed up as a council, but we're agreeing not to actually pass on the goods that come from there to anyone. There's some really tight guidelines. You can't. It's to protect them as selling it on. So there's a real limit that how these things are gifted to a multi-bank as a charity. So everyone who is part of it has to sign up to be a referral partner, which is absolutely no problem from us as councillors. And obviously that we are not going to take the goods and sell them on, but there could be, and this happens to all organisations as well. So all of our third sector organisations, we're having to sign up to say that we won't be doing that, because obviously they are taking all of the goods from businesses to actually repurpose them into the communities, which is the right thing to do. So we can't automatically do it because it becomes down to each individual sort of person that's doing it. So it happens for all referrals or parts of the councils of the services as well. So all of the different teams that have signed up to it have had to sign to say, because that's the process that Cwtch Mawr have in place, and it initially came from their agreement with Amazon, who's obviously funding all of the goods. There's no money that takes place. Does that make sense? I know it would be easier, isn't it? But that's why why it's done in that way.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because I can see it covers us as councillors, so we're not then, somebody can't accuse, well, hopefully somebody won't then accuse us of taking goods for our own benefit. Just one further point, I would recommend, and I know it's been said, but I think you need to keep telling councillors that there is this possibility of being a referral person, and also explain what you've just explained to me. I would suspect there are some councillors who've known about this but missed the bit about it saying, oh, I need to actually sign up to it. So I keep repeating it, because I mean, when you think about how many emails some councillors get, and you read some of I'm sure people are exactly like me. There are some that you skim read and you miss bits. So it's worth keep repeating it and keep circulating it. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Alison, do you want to come back in?
Yeah, just to say that I think as well, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we first sort of started, it was very much all third sector organisations signing up, and the council, as in for the councillors, signed up on everyone's behalf, that if a councillor wanted to make a referral, they made it into Tim Moss and yourselves. You not necessarily Tim Moss, to whatever your email is, and that you would handle it from there. Councillors weren't given initially that direct sign up sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I think that maybe there is a little bit of confusion there for a lot of us. We signed up via community centres, via food banks, via, they weren't, so you'd have, I think they allowed 2 people per food bank, or 2 people per community centre, and things like that. So whether now that's altered and now we can work out a way of councillors doing it direct, well, there must be a way, because I do it direct now, but I think that's just because they got fed up with me being down there all the time. Do you know what I mean? But and just to pick up on Maj said Erica didn't have much. I honestly don't understand how you can't have much. We've had a number of house fires in the ward, and well, it took about 3 cars to get everything to, you know, as in emergencies, as in I don't, you know, Myra asked me to help a young mother in her ward. I honestly couldn't see out of the back of the car. There was so much stuff in there for her. So I don't understand. Something's wrong. Otherwise, other than perhaps we are thinking we can't ask for lots of things. Do you know what I mean? Because it is there and they will give it. So maybe, Mark, we need a little bit more of a, I don't know, go and visit and a little bit of a refresher of what people can get and should be always asking for household things to take the cost out of the spend so they got more money for food. Something like that.
Right, Mark, do you want to come in now?
Thanks, Chair, and thanks for all the questions. So in the early days, we couldn't roll it out to say all social services or all councillors, because obviously we didn't want to trip up Cwtchmawr because it's a very small resource in terms of when you look at the undertaking. So we were phasing it, and the referrals were going through my team at the time. Tim Moss was in my team. So that was the sort of original way of doing it. And then obviously we came here and then we sent out the emails to all councillors. But again, now we have brought all councillors on board. So if you do want to be a referrer, then again, we will send out that email. Again, and we work with all councillors to ensure that everyone that wants to be a referrer can be, but we couldn't onboard just everybody at the same time because it would have flooded them. And we have had some unfortunate catastrophes in Swansea, such as house fires, etc. And that was originally done through us because, again, certain teams weren't on board. We didn't want to keep on bringing teams after teams, you know, in case it did impact on Cwtchmawr's ability to develop. Emergency planning, Ben Cromie is now a referrer. So when that does happen, that will go through emergency planning. So, you know, we've developed our processes internally alongside Cwtchmawr, not to sort of trip them up before they can start, really. Because obviously, you know, if you look at our social care workforce, it's over 3,000 individual workers. So we couldn't have put 3,000 workers straight away. This is why we've kind of phased it as we are, and we'll continue to roll that out across different areas of social care. But as talking about councillors, that's not a problem. We can send out the email to reinforce that message, explain further the referral pathway, and arrange for that visit to Cwtchmawr by STC.
Thank you. Just a few quick ones from me now. Obviously, I thought I had a good relationship with Faith in the Families because I've been around a long, long time, even before becoming a councillor. So do we know why they were the preferred partner? For a quick one, sorry, Mark.
So that was done via Amazon's processes. I don't know is the answer to that, but they went out to a process, and they were selected.
Yeah. And maybe a sticky one, but do you think that we are having an excellent service? And I've seen the figures here, the stats are amazing, because I never thought there was this much going through that door. But do we believe then that for the financial contribution that we make, that we are kind of having sufficient donations payback, and that it will get better, that we're still really in teething stage, really?
Yeah, so again, the performance measures, the stats are available for everybody to see. That was obviously April 24 to March 25. We have got more updated that we put them in the report because it was the first full year. And I think that's really, really key to look at. It hasn't actually been that, although it feels like it's been around for a long time, it hasn't been that long. It's only been sort of 18 months when it started. It was a massive undertaking. It was a completely different area from Faith and Families to take on. I think yes is my honest answer, looking at the stats and speaking to the teams, because we're based within social care teams, and and again, especially around that emergency issue of houses and things like that, the response has been instantaneous and quite fantastic. So yes, in the short run, but also yes, could get better.
And I think I did have one more to ask you. Sorry, Mark. I did scribble it down somewhere.
It's okay, that's why we're yes.
Start coughing out, excuse me. So obviously, you know what I mean? It's like I can remember when I went to the first premises, which was minuscule, and I think they had one van. So how many vans have they physically got on the road now? Do we know that? Because every time we go down there, we can't park because there's just so either family van, Cwtchmawr van, sorry. And do you think that this premises is big enough to facilitate their role? I have been there.
I think the premises is, well, it's 10 times the size of the old one, firstly, which is obviously a lot of stock. Amazon have said they could give you even more stock, but obviously bigger premises, more stock would mean more workers required. It would have more expense attached to it. So that, so for me, it's about consolidating and ensuring what we've got now works really, really well for everybody in Swansea and for the teams supporting them. And I think, yeah, so that's that. What was the second question? The first part? Oh, and vans, in all honesty, I don't know the answer to that. But in terms of the referral process, referrers collect, they don't deliver then. Because again, if they were to offer a delivery service to referrers, that would include or incur a much more expensive cost and need a lot more resource, which would have to be funded from somewhere.
And I think the last one, and it is the last one for me, and I would just like to congratulate us first and you as a team, because to me, when I go there, there's a lot of vulnerable young people who've had opportunity to go in and to work as such. And that's massive for me. That's massive, because some of these vulnerable people, because they're all ages, may never have had an opportunity if it wasn't for this project. So that is a positive for me. It's massive. And I think I get more from the volunteers there than I get from the actual workforce, because they want to speak to you, they want to interact. So that's fab, and that's a massive positive. So whatever we do in there, please continue, because it's the right thing to do. So thank you. So whoever initiated that, that's a massive for us. It is a massive. And I think that's it from me. So is there anything for Jane or Mark before
Just,
Alan?
right, so, well, just a thank you actually to the team. I've been enlightened about the situation there, and I read the 4 case studies, and you can see that it clearly illustrates the need of those who are vulnerable and probably financially embarrassed. And just a final thing for Chair. I'm a trustee of the Swansea Minster, and for 10 years I was the church warden and treasurer, and we supported faith in families. I supported them for all, well, not me, but for the congregation supported them over the 10-year period I was there. Okay.
Well, thank you for that, Al. Thank you. So any more? No, right, thank you. Now we'll go on to agenda item 5, phased expansion of Flying Start childcare provision. You, Mark?
The other Mark.
Another Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Right, okay, Mark.
Hello, good afternoon. Pnawn da all. My name is Mark John, and I'm the Early Years Commissioning Lead in Jane's team. I'm happy to just talk through the information report that's been presented. Just to say, try to phrase it as in the picture as was, the historic picture, the picture as is, and any future developments. So just to begin, this year, it's 20 years since Flying Start has been introduced across Wales, yeah. And obviously the ambition of the original programme was to give children the best possible start in life. There were 4 automatic entitlements for eligible children, which was additional health visiting, support for speech language conversation, and also parenting support, and then childcare, which was for just 2 to 3 year olds, but the 0 to 4 was the cohort of children across Flying Start. So when the childcare element of Flying Start is for 2.5 hours per day, up to 12.5 hours per week, Monday to Friday, and in school term time only, so 39 weeks of the year. So when the original plans to set up childcare in Swansea were developed, they were based in our school-based childcare settings and was eligible to those children living in those postcoded addresses. Over time, there was 18 school-based settings that were commissioned to deliver that childcare. And also there was an outreach model, because some of the criticism leveled at Flying Start was that it was a postcode lottery as we were developing. So Welsh Government did recognise that, and they did allow us to have some outreach where if children could evidence there was a need, they could be brought into childcare. But we still had, it was not an easy option to manage, really. So then in 2021, when the programme for a government agreement was reached, then that was the opportunity to enhance the scope of the provision. So the picture as is, there's been quite a journey been undertaken, some transformational change was required, because one of the first decisions that we made was that we needed to engage with the private sector. Historically, we just dealt with our school-based settings, but the sheer scope of the provision that we required meant that we had to undertake quite a lot of commissioning work and set up a procurement framework and engage with our private provision in Swansea, which they welcomed, because previously, again, they were critical that they couldn't really, they wanted to deliver Flying Start, but our model was based on a school-based model. So when we started engaging discussions with the wider childcare providers in Swansea, they were quite pleased now that they could be allowed to deliver. So we did quite a lot of work, really, to work with those with our teams within procurement to set up a framework which we produced, and each month now we have providers that want to come and join us to help deliver the Flying Start childcare model. Obviously, it's a high quality model, so we need to make sure that there is a mechanism for people to join, for provision to join. And the current picture, we were moving forward. We used to have the information was given to us by Welsh Government in terms of where to prioritise those areas, and it was based on the areas of deprivation, the lowest super output areas, but changed just for 3 to 4 year olds. So it might not be immediately obvious which are the areas we are moving into, but over time, Jane and myself have come to cabinet meetings to suggest, okay, our next tranche of areas to expand across in Swansea, we would bring it to people to understand, and that was what we were going to do. So that's what we've done over time. And Welsh Government have invested significant sums of money to allow us to do that, which we're very grateful for. And just as in December now 25, so 3 months ago, we managed to go across all of Swansea, so make that childcare provision for 2 to 3 year olds across all of Swansea. And I think we were the second local authority in Wales to reach that target, which was pleasing. There's a few tables on the report which are looking at the current kind of setup of delivery that we've got just for the childcare. It's a mixed model of delivery. We still have, and we still develop our in-house school-based childcare settings. We have 17 now, because one setting decided they no longer wish to deliver Flying Start in the school. So, okay, that we had to deal with that. One of those settings in-house is a Welsh setting, so Dechrau Disglair, which is on the Tir Dainhouse primary. So that's a Welsh provision. And then we've also got 40 childcare settings. And again, because one of the ambitions is for the development of Welsh, there's 5 Cylch Meithrins involved with that, and 21 childminders who come onto our framework to help deliver the programme as well. So that's quite pleasing. We've got that mixed models. We've got our school-based where there's no bills for parents. They just go along. We block book the number of places that are available. Plus, we've also got private providers where the children may already be in childcare. So mum is paying a bill, and then the childcare provider then can net off what we are funding in terms of the amount that we fund per hour, which is £7.60, which for a 2.5-hour session is £19, £95 a week. So if a parent is having the full, or if a child is having the full entitlement, it's around £3,750 per annum off their bill, which is, you know, quite helpful for parents, we believe. And also now we need to look at our data as well. Currently, we've just got some information as at December 25 and January 26. So just when we've started to roll out across Swansea, the number of children that are attending, and if there's a breakdown of there's nearly 40% of children are accessing our in-house school-based childcare settings. Nearly 60% are in private childcare, and around 2% are with childminders. So that's something that we're going to continue to monitor to understand the impact of parental choice, really. We're trying to give parents as much choice as possible whilst withholding the level of quality that's needed in these settings. We've got some data on numbers of children born in Swansea, so it's about 2,000 a year. We keep looking at that kind of data. The birth rate seems to be declining, so we are being told. But then whatever that number is, we need to be making sure that we can provide for them, whatever that number may be. And at the present, there are around 1,400 children in Swansea accessing Flying Start funded childcare, which is around 70% of the population. You know, they don't have to take it, but it's there if they think it's appropriate for their child's development. And then for future developments, just to share with us all here what the challenges that we need to consider. Again, like I've already said, it's the impact of that parental choice and how we future commission the model of delivery. So we need to understand what parents are choosing, whether they still want to attend our school-based in-house model or whether it suits them to go to a private provision or childminder. So we've got a database that we continue to review to see what that's telling us, really, and what the value for money tends to be as well, because it is a fact that our school-based settings are more expensive for us to commission than our private providers, because the staff are on council terms and conditions. So it's a different model, and it's a little bit more expensive. So we need to keep that in consideration moving forward, because we need to balance the budget, actually, isn't it? We're getting funding from Welsh Government, and you know, when we talk about what we were going to do, whether we were going to hit that target of going pan Swansea, we need to be mindful of, we can't break the bank in doing it, because you know, we need to keep having the data of how many children take up the provision. One of the other aspects that is important is strengthening Welsh medium provision. So we're making sure that we liaise with colleagues in our education department and wider Mudiad Maithrin organisations to understand what can be done to develop Welsh language provision. We need to raise awareness of the initiative, both with professionals and families, so that maximum benefit can be obtained. As it says in the report, as I say, it's about nearly £4,000. And, you know, we need to make decisions going forward about whether we increase the hourly rate, whether that's affordable, and what that looks like in terms of helping parents again. And the other thing that which we're not sure about is the direction of travel of Welsh Government come election time in May, because the rumours seem to be that there will be changes made. However, we don't know what those changes may be. But we are mindful that we think that there will be perhaps again some significant change for us to undertake. So we are mindful of that. So that's kind of just the spirit of the report, really.
Thank you, Mark. Joe. Yvonne? Or was it Patience? Yvonne.
No,
Yvonne.
it's me. Thanks, Chair.
Hiya, Yvonne.
Thanks, Chair. Mark, thanks for the report. I was wondering, in the dim past, the third sector was involved in a limited way with the early years. Will that still be available, do you know?
Well, I think it was Faith in Families, actually, that were delivering one of our settings in a school-based setting, and they decided, I think, that it didn't it didn't pay off for them to continue. But that's not to say that they couldn't going forward, Yvonne. As I say, we've got a, sorry. I'll stop.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So as I say, we've got this framework for providers to join should they wish to do so. So then we will spot purchase places regardless of what they may be providing, as long as it's a good quality childcare model. Then and registered provision. Then we would look to take that forward with them. So we're not looking not to use the third sector. If that makes sense.
But is it only because I was involved then, so I'm a bit. So is it only faith in families? Would you only have faith in families? I suppose I'm asking.
No. It could be that we've got no. It's just an open framework.
Right. So I could pitch up with the necessary registered blah blah and say, can I be part of this?
Yes, we've got a methodology to follow. Yes, we've got a methodology to follow. So we get applications to us. They're asked for method statement questions. There's a panel that sits, the Early Years Commission team's got a panel that sits, reviews the information that has been provided by whichever organisation it is. And then if we think it's satisfactory, we will allow them to join the framework. And now then we're currently investing, actually, as we speak, in quality assurance officers that will then go out and look at settings so we can monitor the provision and the quality that they're providing. So that's something that has been a little bit of a gap potentially for us because we were rolling out, as we were going forward. Our first priority was to get that money passported out to parents. But now we realise that we do need to have an overall view, which we do have because we work collaboratively as a team with colleagues in our section, Mark's section and social services. But we do realise that, and so we have got 4 members of staff joining now within the next couple of months, whose role will be to go out and collaborate with providers to make sure that the provision is as it should be.
Do you have to be registered with, it used to be CSSIW?
Yes, Yvonne. Yes, it's CIW.
You still have to be registered.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Mark. Thanks.
What as I say, what happened in election time in May and what comes out of that, Wash, we're not sure, but at the moment, yes, it's CIW registered. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Alison?
Thanks. Just to sort of say that obviously we welcome all of this, and a couple of us were up with the minister at Clwyd Primary with a flying start there the other day, and it was really lovely. It was lovely as in the head boy in Clwyd Primary actually started in flying start. He's now in year 6, obviously, and he was actually non-verbal when he started, and dear me, did he talk when with confidence when he was there, so that shows that early intervention right through. And one of the senior nursery nurses there had actually started as a volunteer, as a mother actually, many years ago, coming to the Flying Start venue, who then became a volunteer, who then was encouraged to train, and now, sort of runs the room. So it was really, really lovely to see. There are a few little teething problems for parents, as in some of the settings out there. I suppose they're trying to work out how they can claw some money back a bit, some of the creches, so they then all charge, £10 each way if you've got to collect the child from school and things like that. They're trying to sort of, there are, I don't know, and Mark will be well aware, and I know they are highlighting with Welsh Government that parents are being caught out a little bit. Nothing to do with our end, but, with businesses trying to claw back a bit of money out there, I think, really. It's a fabulous thing, and I think that we only just missed being first. Merthyr got in there before us, do you know what I mean? But we've wanted to do this for a long time. So I'm really, really pleased to see a lot of work gone into it. And we know that it can only help children, do you know what I mean? So excellent.
Thanks, Al. Mair?
Hi, Mark. How many Welsh language schools now have we on your books for Flying Start? Because I know a lot of parents, Welsh spoken, down on the estate, they've had to put their children through Blind and Mice Flying Start and then transfer them up to Penlan when they're ready for full-time school. So I'm wondering if, I can't remember the name of the Welsh school now, is it Tudainon up in Penlan? I'm wondering if they're going to take up on this for the Welsh language, because the child is mainly taught in English, in Flying Start. They're not conversing. When they're conversing in Welsh at home, they're conversing in English. Well, some of the parents want to know, I know this for a start, been asked time and time again, when and where are the Welsh school Flying Starts? And anything for like nursery as well. It's quite difficult pinpointing, as the parents said. But it's a very good report. I got to say that the percentages look really good on paper. So just want to know about the Welsh language so I can go back and tell people, yes, this is what's happening. That's all I got to say, Mark.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, we understand, and it says in the guidance from Welsh Government that they want to prioritise Welsh medium education. So, as I say, at the moment we've got Dechrau Disglair, which is our school-based model for Welsh provision, which is in the old Tudainon site, or the new school now. It was new, so there is provision available there. I think it's 16 places in the morning, 16 in the afternoon, but I can confirm that for you. And as I say, we do have handful of kilks that are also providing Flying Start. So I can actually I can go back and give you the information and email that information out to everybody here to give a breakdown if that would be helpful. That's not a problem. And then we are working with colleagues, as I say, in education to try and understand, because when we work with Mudiad Maithrin, they'd like to have childcare where there's a Welsh junior school to attend and going forward. But sometimes there are complexities with doing that in terms of the sizes of the schools. So it is something that we are working through with colleagues in education. So hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, Mark.
I think for me, I was around in the old school setting, and I was around in Pentraquith when we were one of the first. And it did make a massive, massive difference to families, to those small little bodies who had process and structure in their little lives. And, you know, it's like we see it now. They're fighting for places. So I welcome this expansion. And I do know of a manager in a nursery in Swansea who's really taken it on board and said, Swansea Council, wow, you know? So the need is there, the demand is there, and we are probably that hour or hour and a half a day means a lot to a lot of families, because some of these children have got lots of needs. They need to be integrated at a very young age. So we talk about prevention. To me, this is a prevention, because we are there, we are working with the families are building confidence, so they start trusting and respecting the education system, social services, whatever it might be. And families are integrated then into communities, because, you know, we don't see little bodies come in to those settings that are postcode bred, shall we say. You know, it's like, it's a way to build that concept of community and to raise the respect and the discipline as well, you know, within the families, so that they've got to get up and they've got to take their children to school. And, you know, it is, from what I've seen of it, it's been an excellent scheme from day one. Yes, there were hiccups and there'll always be hiccups, but it's massive for us to expand. And I only hope that in May that we are still ticking the box positively, because it means so much to so many families and so many children. It's their first start in life, isn't it? You know, and I always say, no matter what the opportunity is, any opportunity is better than none. And this is opening the door for a lot of families and children. So again, well done. Just keep knocking on the door, seeking the funding. But, you know, we can see it is a basic report, but it's quite intense for me. And it tells us what we want to know. And again, some of these stats I wasn't aware of, because I just think of my flying start and Clace's flying start, you know. But another job well done, because it does touch that child and family policy, and you know, anything we can do to help them, just a process and that respect and that dignity for themselves as well. So well done. Thank you for coming here today. Any questions, I will be knocking on your door. Are there any questions from anyone else? Alan? Al? Yeah?
I thought earlier, Mark, you were going to give us a prediction as to the outcome of the Senate elections, but but no, I suppose the answer is in the sentence itself. I'm looking at point 8 on page 10, where it says all children aged 2 to 3 years. I was just wondering, is there any mean testing here, or is it all children?
All
Good,
children.
thank you.
Thanks, Alan. So I take it there's no more questions, observations? Nope. Thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate it. We've all learned a lot here today. I dare say you've learned a few things as well. But thank you. We do appreciate it. And a massive, massive agenda. So we just got to keep picking it, haven't we? Because every positive is a positive. So thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you for all your comments on both of the papers. We'll take them away and work with you in terms of developing them as we go forward. This is really important that we're all in it together and to try and do the best we can for our residents of Swansea. Thank
Just
you,
one thing, Jane. Are you going to set up a flying start visit, or do you want me to do it?
the Cuchmar visit.
Well,
I was
yeah.
actually going to say you're going to do both of them. I thought I missed that one.
I got flying down the brain now.
We'll link in and with Alison now
Yeah,
and sort
okay.
out the Cuchmar visit. And in terms of the Flying Start childcare expansion, share with you anything that when we go into how can we promote it as wide as possible. So for both of the agendas, actually, they're really important. Want to work with the committee.
Well, I've been
as we
given
come-
flyers and I've put them everywhere.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
then we're on
everyone.
to Leslie.
Yeah,
Les?
just very quickly, can I echo the thanks to both reports? I mean, both schemes are so brilliant, and please God, nothing will happen at the Senate elections to stop these two carrying on. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. And then agenda item 6 is the work plan 25-26. So 23rd of February is today. I can't believe how quick this year's flying. So 30th of March, we've got a recommendation from the Western Bay Drugs Commission. That might be, Jane, do you want to?
Yes, Chair. So I'll share with you in terms of the report and the recommendations from the Drugs Commission. It was been to scrutiny in October. So I'll share the link around with the STC so you can consider that. There isn't a particular update as such for the committee to consider, though it is really important for us as we go forward in terms of service transformation and development, how we take that forward. And that's been because of the delay in awarding the new alliance commissioning model through the region, but that has been awarded now in terms of providers who will support in terms of some of the recommendations. I am going to the mobilisation meeting tomorrow, so it's very early days, but if you want to keep it on the agenda, it'll be probably a discussion around what has been to scrutiny and what we'd like to do next as a service transformation committee, Chair, if that's okay.
Thanks, Jane. I think for us, I think this committee got a passion with this agenda item, and we kept putting it off and off and off and off and off. And I think we were just waiting for a basic report to say, this is where we were, this is where we are now. And because to us, it's a very important agenda item. It does have a massive impact on everything we do as a local authority and everything we do as individuals. So I hear what you're saying. So thank you. But anything is better than nothing for us, because we need to have an understanding of how we can progress and how we can support as well. So thank you, Jane. And then we've got tackling poverty strategy, Jane again.
Do you want to?
Mair, do you want to come in, love? Sorry, I missed you. No? No. Right. tackling poverty.
Okay, so if that one's okay to come forward, that'll be Anthony Richards and myself. I will be at the next one on the 30th, but I'll be towards the later part. I've got a clash, so it'll be the later part of the meeting. So if we can work on the agendas around there, but Anthony can come and give an update on where we are with the tackling poverty strategy, because there's been, since the consultation and the first draft, there's been an awful lot of work outside with lived experience to make sure the strategy isn't just a piece of paper that says wonderful things. It's actually meaningful and will deliver some meaningful actions. So we'll come and give an update as where we are and what we can do as a service transformation committee to make sure that is a meaningful piece of work. So,
thank you, I appreciate that. And then obviously we've got our annual report, which is in progress.
So absolutely. So that's so Simon's on the call as well. So Simon's
Thank
sitting
you.
with me as well. So they're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
there. So yeah, that's fine, Chair.
So there's nothing else today? No. So next meeting is 30th of March, 1600, okay? Take care, look after yourselves.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.